A stranger lived in my apartment as me, so I dismantled the fantasy he built. A paramedic blocked me at my own front door. "Sir, you can't be here. This is an active overdose scene. This is my apartment," I said. "I live here." Through the open door, I saw EMTs working on a man sprawled across my couch. "The resident is inside," one paramedic said. "Julian Takahashi, fentanyl overdose." "I'm Julian Takahashi." "That's not me," I added, pointing to the man on my couch. Then a woman came out of my bedroom, crying, holding my cat. "Is he going to be okay?" she sobbed. "Who are you?" I asked. She blinked. "I'm his girlfriend." "Who are you?" Police arrived. The man revived with Narcan. The moment he saw me, he panicked and tried to run. Detective Flores investigated. The so-called Julian was actually Brandon Castellano. He'd been watching me for months, tracking my 12-hour hospital shifts, learning exactly when I'd be gone. He spent 6 months living in my apartment while I was at work, sleeping in my bed, eating my food, wearing my clothes. He'd opened $23,000 in credit cards in my name. His girlfriend, Harper, believed he was a successful hospital administrator because he showed her my badge and lived in my actual home. Brandon got arrested. Case closed. Except my life wasn't magically restored. He'd invaded my home, used my identity, turned my life into his performance. If he'd died on my couch, I'd have been the prime suspect. 2 weeks later, Harper called me. She was shattered. "He seemed so real," she said. "We cooked together, watched movies. He talked about his job at the hospital." "My job," I corrected. "I know," she whispered. "I'm sorry." And that's when the idea formed. "Harper, do you still have access to the visitation list at the jail?" She hesitated. "He put me on it." "Why?" "I want you to visit him. Tell him you still love him, that you're waiting for him." "What? Why would I do that?" "Because I need him to believe he still has something to lose. A life waiting for him. Someone waiting." Harper thought for a long time, then agreed. For 3 months, she visited Brandon every week, played the loyal girlfriend, told him she was keeping his apartment ready, wrote him letters, deposited money on his commissary card. Brandon bragged to other inmates about the woman waiting for him, the home he'd returned to, the life he still believed was his. When the prosecutor arranged a victim impact meeting, Brandon walked in looking confident, almost smug, thinking this was a formality. He sat across from me. "Julian, look, I know what I did was wrong, but Harper's still—" "She's not waiting for you," I said. His smile twitched. "She's not keeping your apartment ready. There is no your apartment. She visited you because I asked her to." I showed him the evidence. Texts, scripting every visit, every line she'd spoken, every letter she sent at my request. Brandon went pale. "For 3 months," I said. "You've been telling yourself you had a future, a girlfriend, a home, a life." I leaned in. "That's exactly what you took from me for 6 months." His hands trembled. "Harper's here today," I added. "She wanted to tell you something." The door opened. Harper stepped in. Brandon's face lit up. "Baby, he's lying, right?" Harper looked at him with the same confusion she'd shown me the day we met. "I don't know you," she said quietly. "I never did. You were wearing someone else's life, someone else's clothes, someone else's apartment." She placed a folder on the table. "These," she said, "are photos of my real boyfriend, the man I started dating 2 months ago, while I was pretending to visit you." Brandon opened the folder. Photos of Harper smiling with another man. Restaurants, concerts, beaches. Her actual life, not the fake one he imagined. "You're a liar," Brandon whispered. "No," Harper said. "You are. I just learned from the best." She walked out. Brandon looked at me with pure hatred. "You took everything from me." "I took nothing," I said, standing. "I just showed you what it feels like to live in a fantasy that isn't yours." I walked to the door. "The girlfriend who loves you, gone. The apartment waiting for you, never existed. The life you thought you'd return to, fiction." I paused. "For 6 months, you lived my life in shifts. Now you get to spend 9 years knowing yours was always empty." I left him there, staring at the photos of a woman who'd never loved him, and a life that was never his.